not the most secure position, right? Because I'm on my knees, I don't have my weight all the way on him. The only reason this is secure right now is because this knee is under his armpit, right? And how difficult is it, even if I've got a good cross face and I've got control here, how difficult is it for Kyle to get his elbow into my hip there? Go ahead, Kyle. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a bump and his elbow's in, right? So that's my problem. I want to eliminate his frames. I want to keep his shoulders flat, just like we talked about with all the mount position, all right? So, hips need to stay flat, or shoulders need to stay flat. I need to kind of pick one where I'm gonna put most of my attention, all right? So in the hip to hip position, my hip bone is against Kyle's hip bone over here. So I'm connecting my hip to his hip, and my weight is on his hip. All right. On the back side over here, notice that my knee isn't on the mat, so I'm driving into it. So I'm actually kind of pushing his hips away, and I can do that because my hips are connected. My hip bones are connected to his hip bones. Does that make sense to everybody? So I have control of the hip there, and I don't have any weight on the mat. I'm definitely not gonna sit onto the mat like this, right? Because now he could just push me and I'm off. So he's carrying my weight over here. All right, in this position, I can have strong, I can have a cross face, I can have this underhook, and if I have this cross face, am I worried about this arm down here? If I have his head facing in that direction, this is not much of a concern for me, right? And then from here, I can move into this, I can pin that arm down, I can start transitioning into something else. Now, you guys all remember this for the most part? All right, so, if I'm in this position, he's gonna start building frames, he's gonna start pushing, he's gonna start trying to bridge up, he's gonna start trying to make space and start trying to turn, right? When I feel him starting to frame up here, like maybe I've got this, he's starting to push really hard, trying to get me off of him, I'm gonna deal with this frame by going to the cross shoulder position. All right, you guys remember this from the half guard stuff we were doing. Cross shoulder position or hip to shoulder, however you wanna think about it. So I'm gonna take this hip now, and I'm gonna roll it to that shoulder. All right, so I'm gonna deal with this frame by smashing it with my hip. So my hand position matters now because I need to deal with this frame over here. So I'm gonna scoop this up as I put my weight on top of the shoulder. So now my hip is riding on his shoulder. Does everybody see that? All right. If I want to, I can drive my hip up, and everybody see what happened to his arm? It got up even higher over his head. That's all good stuff, right? But I'm using my hips now to smash that arm down. Be careful when you're doing this because if you guys notice, Kyle moved his arm because as I come over on top of this, it's putting a lot of pressure there. So move that arm. Person on the bottom, move that arm. All right? Are we clear there, folks? All right. So we're gonna start hip to hip. All right, I'm gonna cross, let me have the cross face. I'm gonna cross face. He's gonna start framing and pushing. He starts framing, I'm gonna deal with the top frame, and I'm gonna rotate my hip. All right, when I do this, I'm gonna take this arm, and I'm gonna put it right by his belt over here. So I have some control of this thing too. All right, that prevents it from starting to turn in this direction. You guys all remember that stuff from a while back? Okay, so for right now, let's practice both sides. So this side and that side, and just go from hip to hip, to cross shoulder, just go back and forth. All right, that's all I want to see. Cool? You're bone on bone, so you're not, it's uncomfortable, but it's not going to be painful. All right, so go ahead and put your weight on your partner. So remember, in the hip to hip position, when I'm over here, everybody watch Kyle's knees. All right, I'm connecting my hip to his hip, and then watch. You see how I turned his knees away? I do that by driving my hips across. Okay, that's what I want to see. I want to see that in that position. Okay, I've got control of his head. I've got control of his arm. He starts framing and pushing. So this arm just abandons the head and hugs. All right. The next part of it is I want to commit to putting my weight right there on his shoulder. That's his shoulder. Not over here. Not over here. Not over here. Right there. Okay. So watch. I'm here, and then I drive my weight over. And when I did that roll, I did it on him, right? I didn't put my knees on the mat at all, right? So that's where I want you to be. And then hand controlling the hip over here. Okay? And when I come back, all right, switching my arms, coming back to this position. My knees didn't touch the mat one time, all right? He's uncomfortable, but he's not dying, right? Okay? All right, he's okay for the most part, all right?
Don't feel my training partner.
Everybody got it? All right, a couple more times. Now, when I do this transition, again, he carries my weight the entire time, all right? You're gonna have a strong urge to put your hands on the mat, to put your knees on the mat, to be nice to your partner. Do both of yourselves a favor and learn to put pressure on them and use their body as your base rather than the floor, all right? So I'm smashing him now. He's gonna get to smash me in just a second. It'll be just fine. We'll be even, all right? Actually, he won't be even, but you and your partner will be. So we're gonna start here. Same exact thing. Make sure this position is set. Everybody look at his knees. They're facing away. That's what I want. He starts driving, pushing away. I'm gonna get under. I'm gonna go to cross shoulder position. And now I'm here, all right? Check everything, make sure it's right. Maybe I sink that in a little bit tighter by getting his arms up. I'm good to go. Now, when I go to transition to north-south now, I'm gonna take my legs and I'm gonna drive them back, all right? So now I'm still on his shoulder. I'm still completely across his chest. And I'm just gonna put my head down now, all right? My hand hasn't moved, it's still there. Coming around this way, all right? Once I get to here, so again, he's carrying all my weight right now. Once I get to here and I feel stable, then I'm gonna switch my head position. When I switch my head position, come to here, come to here. All right, now I'm back to this. Then, roll back to the hip to shoulder, or hip to hip. All right, I'm gonna go the other way now. So he starts pushing, over the arm, here. Drive the arm back, put my head on it. Once I feel stable, switch my head position. And I work my way back around. I'm here. I'm back to here. All right? Back and forth, switch. All right, so go this way, come back, and then switch. Go. All right, take your time. 1, 2, 3. Important is to keep weight and pressure on your opponent. All right, so that's the most important thing. If you screw everything else up, you at the very least have to have your weight on top of it. So you think chest to chest, whatever it takes. My weight is on my opponent. Second thing is controlling the frames. Right, so if he's able to get frames at some point, if he's able to get a grip, he's gonna at the very least stall your progress, maybe escape. All right, and then the third thing is transitioning into these precise positions that I'm trying to put you in. All right, the reason for the positions are because they're going to set up your submissions and they're going to set up your transitions to more to possibly better positions like knee on belly or to the mat. Okay, so that's the reason that I want you to do the positions a certain way that I told you. But it's far more important, at least right now today, that you get used to pressure and you get used to controlling the frames. All right, so as long as you proceed carefully around your partner's head, you'll be fine. Don't rush. Like people that start on one side and then decide they're going to go around, they'll try to go really fast, and then now you let your partner get on the side, and now you've got a different problem to solve. Right? So if he's flat on his back, keep him flat on his back, even if you're transitioning around to the other side. Okay. So let's do this one more time, and with some resistance now. All right. So this time we'll start in side control. The person on the bottom, your job is just going to be to unbalance, destabilize, and possibly escape if you can. All right. So if you break contact with your partner, drills over, switch, and start over. All right. You understand what I mean by that? So if all of a sudden like there's no pressure, just stop and then reset and switch. Okay. As long as your partner keeps pressure on you, keep trying to escape. If they do it right, we should have a lot of trouble with it. All right. You go up. So we'll start with side control. All right. I'm gonna say go. Ready? Go. Very good. All right. So if you make it all the way around, switch. All right. And I don't want you to go around and back this time. I just want you to start on one side, finish on the other. Clear? All right. 1, 2, 3. Go. Let's do it.